Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's afternoon for me. Good morning for you. Or good evening. I'm glad you're here. It's me, Ari Dawson Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel, and don't forget, donate the links below. Thank you very much. This live stream is not going to take that long. This live stream is more a reminder to you to examine the situations you're in. Okay? Too often, we become distracted by what people are doing. Well, what they're doing is what's happening. So it's logical and reasonable for us to pay attention to what people are doing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely good. But there are times we become distracted by what people are doing. And that is what I'm about to address in this live stream. When we are distracted by what others are doing. Now, here's, here's what it comes down to. Sometimes you're so distracted by what people are doing that you're not noticing what they're not doing. And you may say, but Rashid, what they're not doing, they haven't done it. So of course I can't pay attention to something that didn't happen. You don't get me yet. Let me give you a parable, okay? You have this guy, Rick, okay? Rick turned 17. And Rick, suddenly his mom calls, hey, your dad is here. And he says, Dad? Yeah, Dad is here. He's in the front. So Rick goes outside and his father's standing there. His father's a little bit short, and he sees his brand new car. His father bought a car for him. Well, contrary to what people expect, um, Rick walked away. Didn't want anything to do with it. So for days after his birthday, people from his high school were asking Rick, "What did we hear? Your dad bought you a brand new car and you didn't want to have anything to do with it? What's going on?" And Rick told them, "Listen, it's not the car I had an issue with. The car was nice, the car was good. It's him I have an issue with." And people say, slow down, Rick, what's going on?" And Rick told them, "Listen, this guy disappears for weeks, months. You don't hear anything from him. And then out of the blue, he appears, expects to get a special treatment, like he's the best caring parent that there is. He either appears just to get some praise or to complain. And from time to time, like on birthdays or on Christmas days, he comes with and lavish us with gifts. He's not a military serving our country. He's not a medical doctor that's saving lives with his work. So he has no excuse for being absent most of the time. He should make more time for us, his offspring, and not come around and shower us with gifts just to make everyone forget he's been absent for the most of the time. And it's after Rick explained himself that the people in his house thought, you know what, Rick, you're right. If he is able to purchase that brand new car for you, that money he could have invested in you also. I mean, you're about to go to university soon, and you take a student loan to pay for your university. Instead of buying this car for you, why didn't he say, you know what, you're going to university soon, let me just pay your tuition for you? Why didn't he do that? As a matter of fact, why was he more involved with your development? But he does appear to get credit. Credit for what? Now, I know this parable is a bit extreme, but think about it. Many 17-year-olds, if their dad appeared and gave them a brand new car, they would think, whoa, look at the car, it's so nice. They would forget about the past. They would forget about all the times the parent was neglectful or the parent acted out of line. They'll forget about all of it because hey, they got a new car, and because they don't want to look bad onto others, they will accept the gift and they will treat the parent like the best individual there is. Knowing full well it's not the truth. This is people. There's nothing wrong with showering people with gifts. Just don't overdo it. Don't do it to the wrong people, please. But narcissists shower you with gifts on specific moments as a spell. It's an embarrassment spell to put on you. So you never dare to question them. Because imagine Rick would say, I want nothing to do with my dad. But hey, I bought him a brand new car when he turned 17. Look at him, and he's still not happy with me. That's why Rick declined the gift, saying, I don't want this car. You want to give me a car just so that you can say how great of a dad you are while you've been absent and abusive most of the time? You don't even go into therapy to improve? What the heck is this? Now, I'm not here advocating for family conflict, definitely not. I'm using this parable to teach you something. In the world, because this is a common thing that happens in the world, so I want you to pay attention to this. In the world, it often happens that people do good things to you, but not for you. All right, I want you to pay attention to this. It often happens in the world that people do good things to you, but not for you. There's a big difference. In the parable I just gave on to you, that absentee father giving that son a brand new car when he was 15, when he was 17, he did something good to the son, but he didn't do it for the son. Just think about it. A 7-year-old who's about to turn 18, about to go to university, the main important thing they need is someone to pay their tuition fees. So instead of spending that $15,000 buying that car for your soon to be 8-year-old son, why don't you use that $18,000 and say, hey, yo, don't worry about your university. Already, I'm going to pay it off for you. That would be a life investment for your son. That car needs gasoline, it needs maintenance. That car will become a liability eventually for your son. So why? So that car would be a good thing for him, but not in the long run. In the long run, would be a liability. Why not pay off his education? Then that's a lifelong investment. Then you do something good for him. You know what I mean? Look, some people don't have much to give because they don't have much. So the little they have to give you, that you should appreciate it. We should always appreciate the good things people are doing. Okay? But we need to understand there's a difference between people doing something good to you and they're doing something good for you. The world will do good things to you so that they get a leverage to shut your mouth later on, saying, hey, remember how much we helped you. Remember that we promoted you, this and that. You get me? The Heavenly Father does good things for you because God wants you to be well off in the long run. Society just wants you to shut your mouth so you don't call them out on their neglect. That's it. So look, it's not what people are doing that's often disturbing. More often, it's what they're not doing. Okay? Okay, let me give another example to you. Let's say, for example, Justin over here is a musician and he's componing melodies. Let's say Justin here is making melodies in his music studio. Okay? And Justin has several relatives, cousins, uncles, people who were all into music. Okay, those uncles and nephews, cousins were all about music. They liked Justin's page on social media about Justin's music company. They leave some nice comments, but guess what? Justin has a music gallery. Let's say he has one there in Amsterdam. And those same relatives are in Amsterdam often. But they go to the red light district, they go to smoke weed, they go to concerts, but they never stop to visit the say music gallery of Justin. They only like it on social media from this, but they never visit it in person, and they never take selfies at the music. Um, how do you call it? He never take any pictures at the at his business as proof that hey, we're here. This is our cousin Justin. He's a music composer. They never come to his music gallery in person and make selfies as proof they were there. But you see them all the time around Amsterdam. At they go to concerts where they have to pay something like 300 euros to enter. Okay, they go to red light districts where sometimes they're even robbed. So they go to all they sometimes go to place to buy wheat, and the wheat is expensive. So they spent all this money in Amsterdam, but never at the music gallery of Justin in Amsterdam. Well, in Amsterdam often. At some point, people are going to ask, hold on a minute, how come that uncle of yours who was all about music all the time never comes to your music gallery, Justin? People are going to say, what the heck is that? But then say, then I'd say, but look at him. He likes you on social media. He give you a like. He follows your page. Okay, but he's not engaged in your music. But he does engage in music of all these other people who are not even serving the Heavenly Father. So the fact he never seems to be able to make effort to visit your music gallery shows you already what goes on. He only acknowledges your music gallery because he has no choice, because the music gallery is there. Him not acknowledging it will make him look bad. People will question his sanity if he would deny it. So we admit your music gallery is there, but it doesn't acknowledge it. There's a difference between admitting something and acknowledging something. When you admit something, just recognize the existence of a situation. When you acknowledge something, you give it your proper attention and proper honor. Someone can admit you, but it doesn't mean that they've acknowledged you. Same way, people can do good things to you, or they can do good things for you. Know the difference. So, in your life, I want you to look at this very well. There, by the way, be happy people doing good things for you, good things and all that around you. But just look at your life. Are people doing good to you or doing good for you? Are they admitting you or are they acknowledging you? If they are doing good things for you and they're acknowledging you, okay, then that's fine. That's good. It's a safe situation. But if they're only doing good things to you from time to time, that means only admitting you're around because they have no choice but to admit you are around, but they're not actually acknowledging you. You need to know the difference because too many believers do not understand this difference. And let me tell you, when people don't acknowledge you, it is because there's some type of agenda they're involved in, and you don't match that agenda. For example, Rosa Parks was named as a woman who refused to stand up in the bus. Because in the United States, in those times, you had the front of the bus was for Europeans and the back of the bus was for Africans. That's how they divided it. And this Rosa Parks sat in the front and she refused to stand up when a European men came in. She became famous for that. But hold on a minute. There was another Afro American woman who did this long before that, but she was a woman who had children out of wedlock. And because she did not match the agenda of children in the wedlock, people did not acknowledge her. Now they admit before Rosa Parks was another woman already did something like this, but they will never acknowledge her by saying who she was and how valuable it was. So when people don't acknowledge you, it is because there's an agenda that you don't match, and they are part of that agenda. Simple as that. This you need to unlearn becoming upset with people that quickly and learn to process them for what they are and then move accordingly. Yes, we walk in love towards everyone. Absolutely, we do that. We walk in love towards everyone. But we cannot walk in love with everyone. You get me? There's a difference with. And too many believers confuse walking love towards people with walking love with people. Some people are going to walk in love towards them as an attitude, but you can't walk in love with them in sense of a social connection because they're not safe to be linked with. Now, when you notice that you are not being acknowledged, when you notice that people kind of, as you can say, turning cheap on you, just smile. Let me tell you, just smile. You may say, Rashid, why the heck are you telling me to smile? Look at the horrible attitude you have towards me. There's a no, 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 no. You're not hearing me. Smile. Rejoice. Why should you rejoice? Because listen, what they're doing is a bad thing, but it doesn't have to work out bad for you. Oh, you didn't hear me. Let me say it one more time. What they're doing is a bad thing, but it does not have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to work out bad for you. You hear me? Let me explain. When people don't acknowledge you, or when they only do good things from time to time just to mask how much they've been absent, what's that show you? It shows that you are important. Because if you were nothing important, they would just ignore you all the time, like you didn't matter. But the fact the fact they're compelled to at least fake it by doing good things to you from time to time shows that you are a priority. Secondly, when people embarrass themselves by not acknowledging you, it's not on you anymore. Totally not. They just freed you from any future accusation. Simple as that. Third thing, when people refuse to acknowledge you, it means that you have some value that they don't want to see around. Don't get things twisted. It's not your deficiencies that upsets them. It's your quality. Too often we think it's our the deficiencies that upset other people. Well, let me tell you, sometimes people are upset with your quality. Yes, because you are of quality, that's why they're upset with you. Because they are not about quality. They don't care about quality at all. But because you are of quality and you operate in quality, that's why they're upset with you. You get me? Again, when this happens, rejoice. Stay in a high vibration. I'm telling you, stay in a high vibration. So in your life, remember, it's not just what people are doing you should pay attention. It's also what they're not doing, but should be doing. Learn to rejoice. Look, that they are in negativity, that's not your fault. And it's not something you can change about them. But what you should do is you need to change for the better in how you relate to those people. You know what I mean? Again, that they cling onto lack, that's not you. And there's nothing you can do about that. What you can do is you can improve how you relate towards them. And that's what you should be doing. I know when you realize this attitude from people, it may shock you for a while. You may even need to cry for a little bit. Just cry for a little bit. But remember, it will work out for your benefit. I'm telling you, in the long run, it will work out in your benefit. It's not just with individual people. Look at groups of people too. If people, let's take the example of Iraq, for example. There were a lot of Iraqi refugees in Europe, a lot of them. And there were people complaining that Iraq was broken. Iraq should be rebuilt, this and that. But okay, how did Iraq become so broken? Oh, the USA invaded because they claimed Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Weapons were never found. So who destroyed Iraq? The United States did, based on false allegations. But once you admit this, they also will admit that, you know what, we owe those Iraqis because we went along with America doing that. So people don't want to go there. They'll complain, man, there's so many Iraqi people over here. You know what? They really do something about Iraq, but they never mention how Iraq became that way. Because if Iraq was never bombarded by the United States, most of those Iraqi people would even have become refugees and be in the West. So how come you're upset with the Iraqi people become refugees over here, but you're not upset with what forced them to become refugees, which is the United States policies? So if someone complains about there's so many Iraqis migrating to this place, but they never account for how come those people became refugees, then they already exposed themselves. They already did. Just rejoice because now you know who not to yoke with. Simple as that. Look, as a believer, we should have long term good outcomes, absolutely. We cannot have long term good outcomes if we continue with an old decayed mindset. You can't have an old decayed mindset and expect to have long term good outcomes. It's not going to happen. So learn. Sometimes it's not what you do. Sometimes it's not directly what you do, it's who you are. They're upset because you are of quality. So look, learn to be joyful at all times. If it happens one time that you're mentally broken down and you crash and you need to weep a little bit, then just do that. I'm telling you to deny how you feel and all that. Just let joy and happiness be your default state, please. Let joy and happiness be your default state. And don't be hyper emotional, being upset because people didn't do more for you. If people should have done more for you, but it didn't, that's on them. You are still alive. Okay, now you can move on to other people. We will do more for you. Simple as that. That's how simple it is. Look at what they're not doing. For example, the United States, and just a contemporary example. The United States addressed often that the civilian fatalities in Gaza are way too high, um, and that situation needs to improve. But it's only recent that they began to point a finger towards the state of Israel. So the thing is, how come from the start? How come it took them months to admit that what um, what's happening there in Gaza should not happen? Why? Because then they would have to admit. Hold on. Because then they have to admit that they are part of it and they're to blame. So the fact that the U.S. spokesman of the United States government did not openly call out the state of Israel for their war crimes and the excessive violence done against the Palestinians in Gaza, the fact they haven't done that explicitly already shows you that they understand that they are complicit in it and they don't want to admit it. So it's not that they deny it, like it's not happening. It's not that they support what's happening, but they don't actually speak out against it either. Again, it's what they're not doing that's telling. France spoke out against Israel. Absolutely. I'm just using it as an example now, because that situation is going on right now. I hope the situation is resolved very quickly. But okay, for you believers, in your life, let joy and happiness be your default state. And apart from that, look at what people aren't doing. And don't go too far with this, okay? Someone who's not a journalist cannot be reporting on all the crimes in the community. Because if someone's just a baker and the baker never addresses the bad things in the community, listen, the baker may not even have the knowledge and nor the understanding how to address things. But a journalist can. So if the baker does not address the bad in the community, it doesn't have to be that he's of bad quality. It simply means that that's not his field. He doesn't know how to do it. Same way, you're not going to ask, why is the nurse performing the surgery? Well, she's a nurse or he's a nurse. They're not a surgeon. So, of course, they're not a surgeon. They won't do the surgery. Simple as that. So, in life, you need to look at it this way. What are people not doing that they should be doing? Watch out for that. What are they not doing that they should be doing in this season? That is what you need to look at. All right. Again, I told you this live stream will not take that long. Thank you all for being here. Subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel, share this live stream, hit the like button. Don't forget, donating links below. If you want to contribute to my PhD funding, write PhD with your donation, please. And don't forget, show me some love by buying some of my novels on Amazon. Thank you all for being here. And please remember, it's not always what people are doing, it's what they're not doing you need to pay attention to. And even then, stay joyful and learn how to act accordingly. Be at peace. That's good, Maria.